Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we are going to be talking about Nebuchadnezzar. Now, Nebuchadnezzar, I feel like doesn't get enough love, so I set out to build a deck with him, and I stumbled across a theme that is probably not the greatest theme in the world, but it's something that takes me back to my youth. We're going to call this Tribal White Border. Now, his ability is not the greatest in the world. X tap, name a card. They reveal that many cards, so obviously you're going to want to pay however many cards are in their hand. You're going to miss the first time, but it's a controlled discard for one person. So whoever the scariest person at the table is, that's just about who you're going to use this with. Now, what I did here was I just pretty much built, because I wanted to. This was actually a deck building challenge that someone issued me a while back, is to build a good playable EDH deck that's all white bordered. Now, I know that grosses a lot of people out, white border versus black border, but here the fact remains is there not going to be any more white border cards. There's a finite amount in the world, and they're not printing anymore. So, with that in mind, I went ahead and I chose Nebuchadnezzar. Now, I only got two dual lands here. I have City of Brass and, of course, the Underground River. Those two that's it for my, dual lands, if you will. Yes, if I had a Underground Sea, I would totally be playing it in the all-white border deck. Of course. Why not? Anyway, let's see what we got here. We'll go through the instance first. A lot of these cards, I think a lot of people don't realize were in white border, such as Vampiric Tutor. I mean, I don't have to preach how good this card is. Everybody knows this is one of the greatest tutors that ever been made. Brainstorm. Brainstorm is, it is playable in every format that it exists in. Now, obviously, just good old-fashioned counter-target spell. The counter spell is a great card. We all love it. Throwback a little bit here with Terror and with Dark Banishing. Now, Ray of Command hadn't got a whole lot of love. It was originally brought to us in Ice Age. It borrows a creature. You're just about going to borrow it, then find some way to sack it. But Hurkyl's Recall is, did you hear that? That was every Brea player out there collectively groaning. Yeah, Hurkyl's Recall's been messing people up for a long time. It has always dominated Shroom. It's so good. It's so versatile. It's amazing. Now, I like Deflection. Yes, there are better versions. Redirect is pretty darn close, if not identical, now that I think about it. But I like Deflection simply because it is the first card, also from Ice Age. It's the first card that gave us this ability. The ability to just, no, I think you mean destroy your own dude. And then we have Balance of Power. Now, I like Balance of Power. I have only ever played this card in EDH simply because just about every table, you're going to have that one guy with just the fat stack for 20 cards in his hand. But this does things. Now, the Balance of Power, here's where I'm going to start going into what kind of the theme that I went with this deck. Now, Underworld Dreams. We all know what Underworld Dreams does as far as it makes your opponents take damage equal to the cards they draw. Teferi's Puzzle Box is a really good addition to the Underworld Dreams. Now, so that's one kind of quirky little combo that we've got going there. Another one, let's look at, let's see, where are we at? Let's look at this whole drawing cards aspect. Now, if there was a way, like say with Zur's Weirding, anytime anybody draws a card, anybody else may pay 2 to get them to place it in the graveyard. Technically, that does not count as a discard, I don't think. But that is really good also with the puzzle box, because once you put the puzzle box down or the Zur's Weirding down, you can't really do anything about the cards in their hand that they've already got. As where the Zur's Weirding, you can. Now, you're going to gain a little bit of life by sitting here with cards in your hand, obviously. And so you don't have to spend as much life on your opponents. You've got ways to make them discard. Now, assuming I'm running Gloom here because it's too good not to run, let's face it, a good chunk of our philosophy, white can just, absolutely hose over. So I do like the, let's go with Larceny. Larceny, whenever one of your creatures deals combat damage, they discard. And then the opposite side of that is, of course, Coastal Piracy. You draw a card. Death Pits of Wrath, just whenever anything takes damage, it dies. Period. End of story. I like Confiscate, because Confiscate, to me, most of the time it says you control enchanted planeswalkers. Now, how do we get these cards? You saw the other tutors. We're going to go tutor for them. We're going to draw them. Just drawing. Not a lot of people know about Concentrate here, but everybody knows about Harmonize. Concentrate is the actual card where they got Harmonize from. That is where Harmonize got color shifted from. Now, we have a little bit more creature kill here for things that can't be targeted. And here again, we just don't like green creatures because, well, let's face it, they're not ours. Exhaustion. I like Exhaustion. Animate Dead. Here again, some stuff's going to die. Or we're going to steal it. Creatures and artifacts. Steal artifacts. So here's the rest of our artifacts. Obviously, we're going to have Library of Lang. That is the end-all, be-all, I feel like the best no-max hand size. We got the Icy Manipulator, which is okay. It goes really, really good. It's one of it's what I call the alpha combos with Royal Assassin. Wish I had the unlimited art for the Icy, but, it's all good. Anka Mishra. Whoa, dropped it. Anka Mishra. 2 damage to anybody who puts a new land in. I had kind of a trade routes thing going here, but it I took more damage than anybody else, so I had to rethink the trade routes. Flying Carpet. Flying Carpet is just an overlooked card. Yes, it temporarily gives a creature flying. And I know that's not the most glamorous thing in the world, but when you've got some things that shouldn't fly, that you're swinging in, and maybe, just maybe, giving it flying is... You can just about make any creature better giving it flying. We have, of course, the mana ramp with the Thalwar Stone, the diamonds. Most importantly, we've got our Tutor on a Stick. Love, 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 love this one. Let's get into some creatures here. We're going to do our old standbys of Singir Vampire, Clone, Will-o'-the-Wisp. I think Will-o'-the-Wisp may be one of the best blockers in the game. Yes, it's a 0/1, but man, that ability is just so strong. Flying and regenerating, this is the ultimate blocker. Just wish it absorbed trample. I like me some Demonic Hordes. Yeah, you gotta spend 3 mana during your upkeep. It is a 5/5 for 6, but it taps to destroy a land. That is a little on the sick side. Nobody is going to want to upset you until you get this guy until they get him dead. If you do get it dead, you're going to Hell's Caretaker back this thing, because it's just too good not to. Now, we've got, here again, I won't go over all of these. We've got the Hippie, Fallen Angel. I sing that song every time I hear it. Pirate Ship, Taps to Plink, Triskelion. Everybody knows the power of Triskelion. Beast of Burden. Power and toughness equal to the number of creatures in play. Pretty strong. Pretty strong. Speaking of strong, what about Better Fire Breathing? This is a colorless to give it +1/+1. Sorceress Queen. Wow. Turning anything into a 0/2. I like the Temporal Adept. Now, Temporal Adept is almost... It's really hard for me to stay honest with this and not put a stasis in there. But the odds of... I guess with the tutoring action that we've got going, we probably could. But Temporal Adept and stasis is a... it's not really a hard lock. It's soft lock, and it does tend to make some enemies more than it makes friends. We're just going to blow through the rest of these here. We've done hit the main point. Got to have Tim. Got to have Tim. Abyssal. That's always a good card. We've got everybody's favorite Black Knight. Got to have that Black Knight. The Death Gazer. Meddling Imp to force creatures to attack. El Hajid. By the way, El Hajid was the very first instance of, we're going to say, lifelink is what it turned out to be. And last but not least, we of course have the Gravedigger. That is my Nebuchadnezzar deck. It is all white border. That's it. Of course, I've got my awesome white border lands to go with it. It's kind of a niche thing. Not a lot of people will even notice. A lot of people just see it as a lot of old cards put together. But it's kind of neat. It's kind of fun. Just something different today. Figure I appreciate you watching. And y'all be sure to like, subscribe, and spread it around. We appreciate you watching. And I think it is time for a shuffle and a cut.